Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Believe podcast. I'm Megan, and my guests today, we have a mother and daughter team. We have Sheri and Leah Wernecke with Wernecke Wellness. Welcome, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So I'm Leah.
And I'm Sheri. We're going to give a little history of how we got into the wellness business. I am 55, so I never thought this is where I would be. But Leah started having health problems when she was about 8, and it lasted about 10 years. We became very frustrated with doctors because we could never seem to get ahead of all her symptoms. And so, like I said, it was 15 years of different doctors, different specialists, different tests, she had 20 MRIs, whole host of issues. And we finally got to a point that we were like, we need to just stop and focus on what goes in her mind and her body and to get outside and get some fresh air. She came to me years later and said, Mom, we have to help other people so that they understand that what you eat is important, what you think is important, getting fresh air is important. And it's very pivotal in your health journey. So we went back to school. I became an integrative health practitioner.
And I became a nutritional therapist, and we just have continued to educate ourselves so that we can provide the best care and the best outcome for our clients and the people that we help.
Yeah, and we can just help educate people of how important it is of what you eat and what you put in your mind. That's how we
amazing.
started. Thank you.
That's Yeah, that's amazing to have a hardship of any kind and to do something about it and then to take it a step farther and help people. I mean, that's huge because so many times we kind of put our head in the sand and we say, oh, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why am I dealing with this?
Yes.
So I think that's incredible.
Thank you.
We're firm believers in using your pain for purpose. So it changes that mindset of what you've gone through and why you went through it. So Leah went through all these struggles so we could help other people.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you guys are here today. And it is March, which is Nutrition Month. So we're going to talk all about nutrition today. So, ladies, where should we start?
So I would say we would want to start with focusing on what goes in your mouth, because think about it this way. What we eat, we become. So if we're eating sugar, eating inflammatory foods, when we eat it, that's what our cells and our body is becoming.
Yeah, where when you eat nutritious food, you're building your body up. So you always have a choice of what goes in your mouth. It's either going to build you up or it's going to help tear you down. And we like to keep it very simple when it comes to nutrition. So good protein, good fats, good carbohydrates, and good fruits. And you
Good
can't,
veggies.
or good veggies. Thank you. If you keep it simple, you aren't constantly, thinking, can I eat that? Can I not eat that? How many calories have I had? Did I get my micros in, my macros in? Just always think, am I getting good protein, good fats, good veggies, and good carbs? And those foods will fuel your body to help it get healthier. And I think we overcomplicate things a lot of times. We just tell people, even foods, if you don't have to read a label, it's probably a good food. It's a whole food. It's a real food. And we just like to keep it simple because I think a lot of people complicate nutrition and then it just becomes confusing.
Or overwhelming.
Yes, overwhelming. So that is, where we start with people.
Yeah.
Because it is overwhelming. We're told a lot of different things. But we know that the ultra-processed foods, the high sugary foods, a lot of the dairy in this country and the grains in this country are over-processed, sprayed with chemicals, and those are going to harm your bodies because our bodies don't know how to process those foods. So just be aware of the foods that you're intaking and just keep it simple is how we start.
Yeah.
That's great because I think it does get overwhelming. And, we had somebody come on and talk about makeup products a little while ago in one of our previous episodes. And one of the things she said, which I think might apply here, is you don't have to go throw everything in your bathroom away. Just you're going to run out eventually. Buy the next product a little bit cleaner. How do you feel about that? Should we empty our fridge or do we just start small?
I would say start small.
I would agree, disagree. So when Leah was going through everything that she went through, I got to a point I was like, we are done. I literally took every dairy product, every sugar product out of our home. And I have 4 kids, so they all suffered through it, but they lived and they're healthier. So you can do it one of 2 ways, depending on what will cause the least amount of stress in your life. So if you're someone who can say, you know what, I'm done with sugar, I'm done with processed foods, then empty everything out. If that stresses you out, then just start small. Keep making little changes. Maybe it's you really focus on your breakfast and having a good hearty breakfast that's going to fuel your body. Maybe that is where you start. Maybe you start by not buying processed foods and you start finding ways to make your own foods better. Leah is so good at this. We often have clients who are like, oh, I'm craving sweets. She is masterful at this. She, makes fudge with local honey and coconut oil and Keiko. And so it's a sweet treat that you have no idea is actually good for your body. So just figure out what is going to cause you the least stress and just start there. Because what we don't want to do with any health issue we're going through or in life is create more stress for us. So when we work with clients, we say we want this process to be somewhat simple. Like you are going to have to make changes, but our goal isn't to stress you out more of what can I eat? What can I eat? What can I do? What can I do? It's loving yourself enough to just know I want to give myself the best food I can, is kind of how we look at it.
And it is an education process because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know what alternatives to do or how to make things healthier. And so that's where it might be a step-by-step process of just educating and helping them through it.
Yeah. We had a little 5-year-old boy, all he wanted to eat was peanut butter and jelly, which the way they were eating it wasn't doing anything. So we were like, put it on sourdough bread. He won't know the difference. Get some good, all natural peanut butter, which doesn't taste as good as the sugary peanut butter. But if we add some honey into it, it'll sweeten it. And then, make your own jam. You can make some chia seed jam or something. So the mom started making those little changes. He still thought he was eating a peanut butter sandwich, but had no idea that it was actually starting to fuel his body instead of breaking it down. So there's always creative ways to start simplifying things to give your body more nutrition.
Yeah.
That's a great way to look at it. And one change that I actually made because of Leah, I heard her speak at an event and she was talking about how we should not have coffee on an empty stomach in the morning because it spikes our cortisol. And I'll let you guys touch on that more in a minute. But I have switched to hot lemon water in the morning and I have saved coffee for the afternoon. Because I didn't know. Everybody drinks coffee in the morning. I didn't know it was spiking cortisol. So to your point, education is huge, and that's really the whole point of this podcast is education and advocacy on many topics, nutrition being a huge one. So let's talk about that for a minute. What do we have first thing in the morning? Not coffee. Go.
So when you drink coffee first thing in the morning, the caffeine is going to affect a whole host of things. It's going to affect your nervous system and affect certain hormone production. So it's going to spike your cortisol, which is going to put your body in a stress state. And then you're going to get crashes. You're going to get blood sugar crashes, energy level crashes. And it's just going to put your body in a stressed out state to start the day. So what we want to do is make sure that we have some fuel in our body. And we want good fuel, so not carbs, because that's going to burn through quickly.
Turn to sugar.
So we want a good protein and good fat to have substance in our body that when we drink that coffee, we're not throwing our body into cahoots.
Yeah. But I would say even to back it up a little bit, we believe that first thing in the morning, you really need to hydrate your body. So like you said, a good lemon water with some salt in it, because as we sleep at night, even breathing, we're losing so many water molecules. So our body is becoming dehydrated just by sleeping. And dehydration is a huge problem, especially in the United States. I don't know if it's worldwide, but here it's a huge problem. Many people are dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, think of your cells. Your cells are going to look more like raisins. So it's going to be hard for it to keep moving through the body. But if we can hydrate those cells so they're like plump, juicy grapes, they're going to, go through the body a lot easier. So hydration in the morning is pivotal. That is the first thing you should reach for. And then eat your breakfast and then have your coffee. Yeah. We are definitely not anti-coffee. Coffee is another one, though, that you have to be careful. Coffee is known to have mold. So you do need to make sure you're buying a good organic coffee that is mold-free, because mold can cause a host of problems, especially if you're having health problems. So choose your coffee wisely and make sure it's organic and it's mold-free. But we definitely have our cup of coffee every day, and no one's really going to take that away from me. It can have some health benefits too.
Yeah.
But on the topic of water and dehydration, so definitely drink it first thing in the morning. But another thing that a lot of people don't know is that you should not drink water with your meals. There's a couple reasons for that. One of the main reasons is when you're drinking water with your meals, a lot of times you're not chewing your food properly. You're chewing it for a little bit and then using the water to just wash it down, which that's going to be a lot harder on your system to digest that food. So water should be drank first thing in the morning. And then we always tell people before and after meals, drink water and have it be room temperature, which is another scary thing for people. Most people like really cold water. But the problem with cold water is your body then has to heat that water up in order to utilize it. So room temperature water, and you can get used to it. It's really not the end of the world. But before and after every meal, make sure you're drinking water and not with your meal. If you want to drink something with your meal, try some peppermint tea or ginger tea, which will aid in digestion.
Yeah.
But that is something a lot of people don't know too. So we're kind of the oddballs when people come to eat dinner with us. They're like, why don't we have anything to drink?
Like, do you know how bad that is for you?
I know. So it's just another tip.
Yeah. So I've actually heard that drinking while you're eating dilutes your stomach acid. Is that also a piece of it?
Yes, I was going to say there's that other component too, where when you drink, it does decrease the amount of stomach acid in your gut. And so then it's going to be even harder for your digestive system to break down the food and properly use it.
So that's so contrary to what we were taught when we were younger, that you're supposed to drink a giant glass of water before your meal so you can fill up and not eat very many calories, and that toxic 90s diet culture. And so it just goes back to, like you said, education. What you don't know, you don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and hearing you talk about like calorie restriction and that, a lot of our clients we work with, I tell them, like, you need to eat more food. I am 55 and I out-eat many people that we work with, even guys. But I think a misconception is I need to control my calories. But I always tell people, you are never going to get overweight by eating too many veggies. It's just not going to happen. I dare someone to even try.
Yeah.
And veggies are so pivotal to your gut health, to your microbiome. All your micronutrients and everything are in veggies. I had read a book once and it said to strive to eat 30 different vegetables a week, which sounds very hard. But it's a challenge to just try to keep adding things, keep, experimenting with different vegetables, because you do become what you eat. And your gut microbiome, if it's filled with a lot of, good vegetables, it's going to balance and take care of a lot of health issues that you're having.
Yeah.
So just, like we said, keep working forward with what you're doing.
Yeah. And another thing off of that is a lot of people who want to lose weight or are trying to lose weight, they think that eating less and skipping breakfast is what is going to achieve that goal. But oftentimes that's going to be another added stress because your body's guessing, when are you going to feed me next? Are you feeding me enough food? And so then it gets stressed and holds on to the fat cells and increases cortisol and leaves you feeling more bloated, inflamed, and not able to lose that weight.
Yeah. Food is important. You need to eat.
So what does a typical breakfast look like for you?
So it depends. Right now in wintertime, we have been doing good fresh eggs, spinach, onions, and garlic. So the onion and garlic is going to be great, especially this time of year with everyone getting sick. It has good quercetin to help lower inflammation levels and just keep your immune system healthy. And then we do a lot of spinach to get the greens in our breakfast, and then the eggs for protein. And we'll often add an avocado to get that good fat as well.
Yeah. And a piece of sourdough bread.
Yeah.
But
That
in
sounds
this,
delicious.
it is.
It's
yes.
really good.
And then in the summers, a lot of times we do smoothies. I won't do smoothies in the winter because it's just too cold. And warm smoothies sound disgusting to me. So, but when it starts getting warmer, we do smoothies. And what's great about them is a smoothie is already broken down. So it will take your body nothing to digest it. It's already broken down. So you aren't expending a lot of energy to digest that food, which a lot of people don't think about how much energy it takes the body to digest food. So a lot of times, a smoothie is a great option when you're struggling with stress because your body will just absorb the nutrients. So with smoothies, we do like spinach or kale, frozen bananas or blueberries, raspberries. We put in some dates, we put in some Keiko. We do use a clean protein powder. What else do we put in?
Water.
You can put in water, you can put in frozen avocado, blend it all up. And I do really like the smoothies.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do to get a lot of nutrients in you quickly is by juicing. And we do love juicing. We just take anything and everything that's in the refrigerator. We've juiced beets before, celery, anything you can think of. But anything that's in a liquid form that's full of nutrients, your body is just going to absorb more easily. So if you're battling with health conditions and that is a very easy way to get a lot of good nutrients in you without your body having to work hard to break it down and absorb it.
That's great. And I think smoothies, a lot of people look at that as something like a treat, like exciting to have. And for my kids, it's the same way. And so we do a lot of smoothies, especially in the summer. And to get all that fruit in them, and we do sneak some veggies in, there's no way they would sit down and eat it, like with a fork.
Yeah. Right. Well, and smoothies really, when you put kale and spinach in, they do not know.
No.
No. My 2-year-old grandson loves them.
Loves them.
And he has no idea. He's clueless.
Or if he does know, he wants to put the spinach in.
Yes.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. But that is what we usually do for breakfast. And it works. There's another, thinking of spinach, because a lot of people struggle with getting greens in.
Especially in kids.
And especially in kids. There's a spinach banana pancake recipe that we make that they are green, but you would have no idea there's spinach in it. So a lot of times it's being creative when we're talking with kids to get them in. Now my husband won't eat them because they're green. And I'm like, you're a grown man. Get over the color. But with kids, you can trick them a lot of times that they have no idea that what they're eating is good and delicious and nourishing for them. But we keep it simple. We're pretty routine with what we eat. Just
because it makes us feel good.
Yeah, makes us feel good, and it's easy.
That's fantastic. And I do find that when you start eating more whole foods, cooking even gets a lot more simple than when you're reading a recipe with 20 ingredients and you have to go to the store and buy, a can of cream of chicken soup or this extra spice or that, and, all the things that aren't good for you when you're making these elaborate recipes and you're stressing out and you're buying all this stuff. If you just go simple with the whole foods, you're spending less, it's less time.
Yes.
Did you find that when you kind of made your switches?
Yes and no. When we made the switches, I have 4 kids of my own, and we did foster care. So there were usually 7 kids in the house.
Wow.
That's a lot of food preparation.
That's a full-time job.
Yes, so people are often surprised when I say I hate cooking, hate it. but there's a reason.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cooking for a lot of people. So I would not say it was easy with that many people in the house. But when you look at the alternative and as to why you're doing it, we always tell people your why has to be important. If your why you're doing something isn't important enough, you won't do it. Mm-hmm. So when we started this, my why was I wanted my daughter out of pain. I wanted her to be able to go outside, enjoy life. I didn't want her life to be spent going to doctors, sitting in a chair, passing out because of pain. My why was pretty strong, that I was willing to do anything. It is a lot easier now with most of my kids gone to do easy meals, but it's a decision you make. Mm-hmm. And that's what we always tell people. You do have a choice in life. And if your why is I want to feel better, then it's worth doing it. And you are right. The more you do it and the better you feel and the more you know, then you start having an appetite for that.
Yeah.
You want to know more. You want to do more. And so we're at a point now, like we don't even think about it. I mean, a lot of times for dinners, we make kind of like bowls. So we do some quinoa. We do, a protein. We do a whole bunch of vegetables. Mm-hmm. We do avocados. We put it all in a bowl. And a lot of times that is our dinner.
Yeah.
And we can really mix and match whatever we want mm-hmm. in that. But it doesn't require much thought. It's delicious. You can make some different dressings pretty easily. Yeah. We can put lettuce and spinach in there. So it doesn't have to be every day like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? You can really simplify it and just make little changes so it's not the same thing every night, but you're getting the same proteins and vegetables and fats and everything else. But it takes some time. That's where we say allow yourself grace and allow yourself time and just keep working to get better. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the better you feel, the more you're going to want to do because you're going to see the benefit of it.
Yeah, that's great. What other nutrition tips do you think that people should know? Like that would either simplify things or are just worth it?
I would say one thing that's worth it is mindfully eating. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when we're eating, it's either on the go, we're sitting and everything's chaos, or we're watching TV or scrolling on our phones, and we're not allowing ourselves to have that calm, relaxing environment where our bodies can be calm and be like, okay, this is when I'm getting fed and going to get more fuel. And we're not taking the time to chew our food and really enjoy the time with the people that we're with. And when we're eating in that rush state, our body is in that heightened stress response. So then it's going to be like, okay, let's quickly get this food in and then let's go. So it's not going to digest it and use it how it needs to be used.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we talk about it's not nutrition, but emotions always play a role in health. And part of emotions, like Leah said, is sitting and enjoying the food, chewing the food, being with people you love. That is, to me, as pivotal as what you are eating. There was actually a study done, and it was in a country that their family is very important. Their time together, their meal time is very important. So it was a bunch of guys who worked a lot. They drank a lot. I'm not saying you should drink. I am against it. But they did some things that they shouldn't do. But their meal time and their family time was very sacred. And they found that their health was better than people who ate everything right. But like Leah said, we're on the TV, we're scrolling on their phones, we're doing things. So the environment and what you create, to me, is just as important as the food you're eating. Because like Leah said, we need to get our bodies out of that constant fight or flight and get them to experience joy and peace, because that will resonate in the body. And we can tell when we talk with people, we can do everything right, but if their emotional state is always, anxious and worrying, everything we're doing is going to fail. Yeah. So the emotional side of it and the emotional side of eating So, for example, even if you make a great meal and it's healthy and nutritious, but in your mind you're like, oh, I don't want to eat this. I hate this. I would rather be eating. Your body is going to know that. Like it's already sending certain signals, certain digestive signals to produce the acid, to break up the food. And your body feels those emotions. And that's hard for people to understand. People can understand, like, I feel a tightness in my shoulders because of stress, or my stomach is upset, because I'm worried. But it's hard for them to realize that their emotions and their thoughts will even affect your digestion. And your digestion is so important because that is what is building your body. So that's, why your digestive health is so important. And your emotions play a pivotal role in that.
Yeah, we have talked about that several times on this podcast and will continue to because it is so important how your mental affects your physical.
Yes.
And I don't think we've actually said it with nutrition. So this is even a step farther that, the nutrition coming in with your emotions. And what about when you're eating and you're distracted, like you're watching TV or you're on your phone? How does that play in?
I would say it might not be as much the stress response, but we're so focused on the scrolling or watching something that we see that we don't take the time to properly chew the food in our mouth, and we're just shoving it in without even knowing it. And then you get up and you're like, oh, did I even eat dinner? And you're not taking the time to make sure, they say you should chew your food at least 30 times. And probably when we're sitting there scrolling and watching TV, we're not mindfully chewing or eating.
And when you're not mindfully eating, you're not producing the same, your digestive enzymes, the acidity in your stomach. Everything changes when you're focused on something else. So it's just a bad idea. And not that we're perfect. There are times I'm like, I just want to sit and watch something and eat. And Leah's right. I finish eating and I'm like, I don't even remember putting food in my mouth. So I know we all mess up. We're human. But we do try, there is a table, there is a meal time. It's kind of almost a sacred time that we're sitting and we're nourishing our bodies. And that is our focus. Our focus isn't what's happening on my phone, what's happening on the TV. We do have a no phone rule at our, there are no phones, computers, tablets. When we eat, we eat. It's important that we have communication with each other, relationships with others. And it's an important time. And when you do that, your body, like Leah said, can calm, get out of that fight or flight, and it can accept the food and use the food in a way that it can't when you're preoccupied.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And some of it is, there are circumstances. Like we definitely have clients that have to eat on the go and that. What we tell them is take a few deep breaths. And then, yes, maybe you are driving while you're drinking your smoothie, but you can still mindfully do it. It's not ideal, but we know that everyone doesn't have time 3 times a day to sit down and be around the table. We know that's not, that's not going to work for a lot of people. But you can still choose to mindfully eat, to take a few moments to chew your food, to deep breathe, relax yourself. Get outside and eat if you can't be around the table. Get some good sunlight in you. Get some good fresh air. Yeah. So it can't always be perfect, but you strive to do the best you can.
Yeah. What would you say, or are there any things that you have completely blacklisted from your home? That there is no negotiation, it's not coming in here, we're not doing it.
Oh, I feel like there definitely are.
Yeah. Really sugar, dairy, and gluten.
Or the little things that people don't think of. Like the other day I was thinking of it and I was like, remember when we used to get goldfish all the time? Like whenever we weren't feeling good, it was always goldfish or Cheez-Its. Those things will never come in our house.
We don't, I will not say never, but we don't do processed. Sugar is a non-negotiable here. We don't do any sugar. We do organic maple syrup or we do local honey. So we do have things that are sweet. We just find a good way to make them sweet. We do not do any gluten. And we don't do dairy. Every once in a while, we will make ice cream or do ice cream. I think raw milk is fine. I don't like milk, so it's pretty easy for me to do no dairy. Um, but a lot of the dairy in this country just isn't good. The casein is high. It's hard on your digestive tract. It causes a lot of inflammation. So for us, that is what we choose. We do have clients, we tell them, I don't think anything needs to be cut out forever. I think if you get your body to where you want it to be, and every once in a while you want to have something, I have no problem with that. Just for us, the road that we have been on for so long, it's just not that important to me. It's not that important that I need to have sugar or I need to have dairy. But that's our story. Like, I know where we were.
Yeah.
There is no part of me that wants to go back there. And I know that those things interact with our bodies in a way that I don't want. But I don't think it's terrible if someone has their health in a good spot to occasionally have some of those foods.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And then when you guys made the switch and, followed through today, did you find that your taste changed? Did you ever go back and eat something like a ding dong or a goldfish cracker and go, oh, this isn't even good. Why did I like this back then?
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely have had that. Because we were even big, well, we weren't huge. Like, we weren't addicted to soda. But we definitely did drink pop, Coke, all of that. And even to this day, if we're like, oh, we're just craving it a little bit, and like we get one, we taste it and we're like, this is disgusting. Why did we even get this? Or our taste buds have changed that we crave the good foods. So for me, I love beets. I used to absolutely hate them. I thought they tasted like the ground and were disgusting. But now when I eat them, I'm like, these are so good, and I just want to keep eating them.
It's so funny that you just said that because I was the same way. My grandma used to eat beets and I did not like them at all. And I keep seeing all this great stuff about beets. So I was at Wegmans the other day and they had, and it was packaged. It was like a beet that was pickled and sliced. And I thought, I'm just gonna buy this and see if I like it, and then maybe I'll buy like some real beet. Not real is the wrong word. Maybe I'll buy some beets from the produce section and right, fresh. Thank you, fresh beets and roast them or do something with them. But let me just buy this one and just see like what I think. And yeah, I liked it, and I was like, why did I think this was gross? They're not gross at all.
Yeah.
But we do see that in a lot of our clients. So when your digestive tract is out of whack, when your body is not healthy, it is going to crave certain foods. So it's going to crave sugars, carbs, because it's feeding what's going on in your body. So you are right. As you balance your body more, as you start eating healthier and your body starts getting healthier, it's not going to crave the sugars. They say that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I don't know. I've never been addicted to cocaine, so I actually don't
Me
know if
neither,
that's-
by the way. Disclaimer, none of us have been addicted to cocaine. But sugar is really hard to kick. I mean, that is definitely a true fact.
But it's when you start giving your body what it needs, so the proteins and the fats, you aren't going to crave them as much. So it is a process. And so the healthier your body gets, food does start tasting differently. Like carrots now taste sweet, which
Who would have ever thought?
who would have ever thought that? And you do start liking foods that you thought this was disgusting, but your body's now in a position that it can accept those foods, and those foods will taste different. So, a lot of our clients, you don't want to make changes too fast and throw them off the loop, but they will come back to us and start saying, wow, I actually like, kale. Like, what's going on? Something must be wrong with my body. But they're just getting to a point that they can accept more foods, and then you just keep growing from there. But yes, beets are very good roasted.
Yeah.
That's something you need to do.
I will do that next. I just wanted to try it, and it was easy. It was already, ready to eat, and I was like, I'm just going to grab one of these and see what I think. But it did surprise me because I remember hating them. And, granted that was years ago, but I haven't eaten them for years because, You know, we have juiced them on occasion because, like you said, when you throw them in a juice, you don't taste it. But to actually eat one, not since, I don't even know. I can't remember.
Yeah. And that's, I will tell you, one thing that we do a lot is we just roast a whole bunch of vegetables. We will do beets and carrots and sweet potatoes, sometimes turnips, different vegetables, cut them all up and put them in a huge roasting pan. And that way we can have them for lunch or, in the morning. The other day we had squash, mushrooms, and onions the night before. And I pulled those leftovers out and put them in with our eggs, and they were so
really
good. So sometimes you can, meal prep ahead of time so you aren't constantly stressed because we will eat on roasted vegetables for a few days. So it's, things like that you can do that will simplify things and you're still getting the good nutrition.
Absolutely. I went to Rare Disease Day in DC the other week. And if you follow the podcast, you've seen us post about that. It was a lot of fun, but we were gone for a week. And I had stocked our fridge before we left. And I spent a couple days cooking. And my kids are all teenage. I have 3 teenage boys.
Wow.
And a husband as well. And I was running late because I had got everything done. And anyway, it was not a big deal. But I had explained, like, I don't have to cook for them. They are teenagers. He is an adult. They can cook for themselves. But if I don't do it, it's going to be DoorDash. It's going to be, they're just going to eat granola bars all day. Like, it's not that they can't do it. It's that they won't do it.
Yeah.
But having that prepped in there where they could grab it quickly and heat it up, then they'll eat it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they will learn that good food makes them feel good.
That's the hope.
Yes. And they will. You're setting a good stage for them to learn that. And you probably won't see it. I'm finally seeing it with my 20-year-old who's in college. The other day, he was like, I know my vegetable intake has been a little lower than I want. I need to eat more. But he knows when he starts eating crap food, he'll be like, oh, I just feel sluggish. And so what you're doing is you're instilling that within them. They don't even know it, but they will realize that when they go out, they're probably going to experiment with junk food and not feel good. And they'll go back to what you have taught them.
Yeah.
So that's what we love about educating people, is because the more you know, then you spread that knowledge to people. And that's, really what we love doing is, getting that knowledge out there so it can just keep spreading and spreading, and it makes everyone better.
Yeah.
And it is an evolving process because my kids, don't get me wrong, they grew up on goldfish and, we're learning so much more now than we did, back when they told us margarine was healthy, or like we said, drink a giant glass of water while you're eating, or, all of these things that we thought we were doing good. I remember in college, I thought if I ate a Nutri-Grain bar for breakfast, I was like so healthy. Yes. And now I would not eat one of those at all. So it's just funny, like, yeah, the more we learn, the more we educate, the more we can help our kids and our family and not just ourselves. Right. And we can all be healthier and hopefully have less risk of disease and, less hospitalizations and doctor visits.
Yeah. Well, and we tell people too, like hearing you say the Nutri-Grain bar, there's so much out there now that's organic, and the way it's packaged looks so healthy. The name of it looks so healthy. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many times we've had a client text or call us and be like, I bought this, and when I got home and read the ingredients, this is in it, and now I have to throw it away. And that's why we tell people, like, if you are going to buy something that has multiple ingredients, you have to read it. Because even the way things are packaged in the United States, it's not healthy just because they said it's healthy.
It's deceiving.
It is deceiving. So you do really have to read. Like Nutri-Grain, they seem very healthy until you read it. And then you're like, there's nothing in this that is helping my body.
No. And one of the things that really has helped me with my grocery shopping is doing grocery delivery, because I can shop at home when I have time. and I can read the label, as I'm going through it on my phone, and it's not the same pressure as when you're standing in the aisle and someone's behind you and you just want to grab something, and so it says healthy on the box, so you just grab it. If I'm sitting at home and I'm taking the time and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to devote this hour to grocery shopping, and I'm pulling up the labels and reading it, that has helped me a lot. And it's also helped with budgeting too, to be quite honest, because once I put everything in the cart, I can look at the cart and go, oh, I did really good. I'm going to add some extra, fruit or something, or, oh, that's not great. Let's take a few things out. And so and then I don't have to go to the grocery store and waste my time at the store. I can spend it at home being a little more intentional. Right. And I think the grocery store can be a stressful experience for a lot of people. So that's something that I really enjoy.
Yeah. And we do hear that a lot with clients, that healthy eating is expensive. And it can be. We do a lot of dried beans, which are very cheap and very nutrient rich. But it can be expensive. But I kind of counter people to look at what you're spending your money on. A Starbucks drink is very expensive. I'm not picking on Starbucks, but like there are little things we do that are very expensive. And if we would allow that money to be our food budget and good food, it's going to save us money in the long run. Because doctors are expensive. Getting sick is very expensive. Not working is very expensive. Yeah. And so, you have to make that choice for you and your family. But I believe a lot of families, there's things we can cut to eat more nutritiously to fuel our bodies so that we can be healthy. But it's a hard look at self. And, we've had to make some changes and some cuts in places, but it's all for good instead of, feeling like we're denying ourselves something.
And it goes back to what you said before about your why. Is your why worth it?
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's what some people that we work with, their why, which is fine. There's no judgment on our part, but your why has to be important. And we said the greatest gift you have is your health. Yeah. And I have challenged people, no one can tell me something that's more important than your health.
Right. And you know that because you saw Leah go through it. And a lot of people, I think, if you don't know someone who's gone through a health challenge or you haven't had one yourself, you have that invincible feeling of like, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't have to worry about this.
Yeah. Yeah. But even parents, I tell them it is not selfish to take care of yourself. It is not selfish to tell your kids, I need to go for a walk, or we are going to sit as a family and eat. Or I am going to bed at 9 o'clock because my body needs rest. Because as a mom, if you go down, the whole family is sinking.
Yeah, and they're door dashing.
Yes, yes. And I will say, sleep kind of prompted me. Another thing about nutrition that a lot of people don't know, you should really stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. And the reason for that is when you sleep, you don't want your body to be working on digesting your food. You want your body to really focus on repairing, restoring, and detoxing. So that is another thing a lot of people don't think about. They might snack after dinner or something like that. We always, after we eat dinner, we go up and brush our teeth. And maybe this shows how lazy I am. But once I brush my teeth, I never want to eat something else because I don't want to brush my teeth again. Which may sound really stupid, but it works for me.
That's actually a great strategy, and I love that because it's so simple. It's free. You're already going to do it anyway, but it's going to work.
Even last night, I was like, I would like a cup of tea, and I was like, no, I don't want to rebrush my teeth. So I'm just going to drink some water and go to bed. Yeah. But that is really important because sleep is so important to your health. And so if your body can, like I said, rest and detox while you're sleeping instead of digesting the food, that will make a big difference in your health.
Yeah. And you probably sleep better.
Yes. Every time someone tells me they have these wide dreams, I'm like, what did you eat before you went to bed? Nothing. I'm like, nothing, really? But it does mess with you while you're sleeping if you're digesting food.
That's a great point. And, you know, if you cut out that late night snacking, you can cut out probably a lot of bad habits, unnecessary calories, and, you know, of just filler junk just by simply saying, after dinner, I brush my teeth and I'm done. So I think that's a really great, easy tool.
Yeah.
Well, and we tell people too, you don't realize that your digestive system, it is a muscle. And just like you wouldn't exercise all day, you would give your body breaks. It's the same with eating. We really try to tell people eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Try to get 4 hours in between because that gives your digestive system a break. It allows your digestive system to use what it gave, to digest what it gave, instead of just constantly making it work. So really, and if you're hungry between breakfast and lunch, you may need to look at your breakfast and say, did I get the right amount of, did I get some good protein? Did I get some good fats? Did I get some good veggies? Really look at what you're eating if you are hungry and have to snack during the day. Because most of us, you know, we aren't working out hard enough that we need to eat, you know, 6 times a day or anything like that. So just kind of be aware of what you're eating and try to give your digestive system that break during the day with just focusing on 3 meals.
Yeah, that's smart. Ladies, thank you so much for being here and talking nutrition with us. This was really, really beneficial and I learned a lot. I hope everyone watching learned a lot. If you did learn something, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you learned. Or if you have a question, leave us a comment and we'll try to get it answered for you. And if you have any nutrition tips, share those in the comments as well. Also, please like and subscribe. Whether you're on YouTube, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get a podcast, we love a subscription. It helps us more than you know. We cannot do this podcast without our viewers. So if you're viewing, thank you so much. We hope to see you next time. And to all of our sponsors, a huge thank you. We also can't make the podcast without our sponsors, so they mean the world to us. Check out their websites. And then also check out our website, acureinsight.org. We have a button at the top to subscribe to our newsletter. It goes out once a month. And occasionally, if there's something really timely, we'll send that out as well. It's the best way to stay up to date. You can also follow us on social media for most of those things. And there's some other great resources on our website as well. We want you guys to have all of them at your disposal. So you'll find our Physician Finder, our Cure Companions program, and also join us every Tuesday night for our Zoom where you can connect with other OMIs and find some support there. So we will see you guys next week, and we hope you have a wonderful week.